Hello everyone, welcome to the final prompt cluster. And this one's going to be a little different. As you can see, I haven't already generated a prompt, and that's because there is only one area left for me to finish, and it's this great big area right here that I haven't finished yet. And I don't know how many prompts it's going to take for me to finish this. So, except it's only one area. So, we'll see. Oh, this is the first prompt we're going to be doing. Alright, so this is the first prompt kind of unloaded into this area. There's going to be a lot of little bits full of, and just in this whole prompt cluster episode, so I'm going to try to go through it quickly. Mostly, I have just expanded the quartz path thing I had going on here, because I already had a plan for that being the whole city path kind of design here. And I've kind of just got the path going around everywhere, and look here, this is one of the buildings I made. I think it's kind of interesting. I actually tried to go for a banner design thing here, which I don't do very often, but I feel like it worked pretty well. I think it looks kind of neat. If we go into the building here, see, I used a bunch of different blocks, and I kind of kept to like a gray, white, cyan color tone, which I think is neat. And it is a library kind of thing. It's just a bunch of little nooks and stuff in here with lots of bookshelves. There's like 3 of them. And it gets to the bottom layer, and there's even more books. So that's that. And here we can see this is, like, I did a bunch of farms. I forgot the word for a minute. It's kind of weird. I did a bunch of farms down here with like these layered looking areas. And I just filled in a bunch of different crops because I figured the villagers would probably be working with them anyways. And I did some different colors for the different areas. Like I used purple for the farms. Up there I used the basalt, polished basalt, just the top of it because it has a nice texture up there. Over this way, you can see here, I just continued the farms as well. And there's a little area in here. You can see I swapped to more of an orange color with the new resin blocks that were just added. I figured that would be the color for where the villagers sleep. And I've also got a bit of that up here. And some more villager areas where they live. I also put some just nice little like planter boxes here because I wasn't sure what else to do. One thing you might also notice here is all the stone in the mountain has been changed to a bunch of ores with the new resin things just put on top of them because I feel like that makes for a very neat, interesting look. I haven't replaced the grass yet, so it's not like you haven't seen how it's gonna look eventually. But that's how it looks now, and I think it's interesting. Now, what else? I did this area down here. This is supposed to be another sort of farm thing, except it's like little coral plants. I used a lot more resin in this one. I wanted to try and offset the really intense blue with the resin colors and some other brown blocks, or orange, sorry, uh, built into here. I think it looks kind of interesting. I also used some of the pale oak wood with the quartz, since those two seem to work pretty well together. Over here, there was just like an indentation here that I decided to turn into a pond, and I did like an interesting little gradient coming up from the resin blocks up into sand with some more resin bits scattered around. There's also a nice bridge. And over here, I kept the orange theme going because I figured that would work since it kind of blends in with that. And I got some other trees here, and I used some of the flowering azalea in conjunction with the resin to make it look like they've got like flowers or fruits or something in the trees. And I just did like a nice little bit of landscaped in here with some looms under the trees because I'm eventually going to have some more villager housing around here. So they'll be working in and among this area. And over here, I've just connected up pathways for the I just continued the copper path design I had here before. Added another lightning rod just so nothing gets hit by lightning. And over here, this wasn't originally in my design, but I forgot to use coal blocks over there for the ore sides, so I decided to use them over here. And it gives it a really interesting look, I think. So, this is the second prompt we're going to use. Alright, so this is, what I've done with the second prompt. It might be kind of hard for me to tell the difference between what I've built, or what I've shown yet and what I haven't, so bear with me. I've been working on this for a while. But we can start up here. I started filling in this area with pale oak looking sort of thing, just because it was added and I wanted to play with it. Which is ironic because I take so long on these that there's already like 2 new drops working and one's already been added. Like the spring drop happened while I was working on the stuff that was new from the winter drop. So that's funny. This thing here, I don't know what it was really supposed to be, just something interesting to fill in the space. I'm probably going to have trees around it that mostly conceal it, so it'll just, as I said, fill out the space. Over here, that's the path. There's just a weird little house with some beds in it that villagers can go to. Because whenever you're doing a village like this, you need to have, like, an equal amount of beds and workstations. I apparently didn't have enough beds, so I had to add a little bit there. Down here, there's a whole bunch of stuff. So, several buildings around here. I did all sorts of like amber on glass because I figured that would look nice. And here we just got more areas with beds, and I did a bunch of farms up here because this whole area is kind of like a farming looking area. We got the bridge over the pond here, more amber. We got these 2 little areas. This goes into the orchard area. I don't remember if I showed it before, but that's there. And here, we have another orchid-looking place with some different trees I used. This is the pale oak wood, but it's stripped. So that looks really nice with the cherry blossoms. And here, we have a library with a whole bunch of lecterns, some beds in there, and some other stuff, and there's a little window so they can see the other farmers. Figured that'd be nice. Over here, just have another little garden thing to fill in more space. We have the path that went through here previously. It's now a bit more decorated. I've got a bunch of barriers around here just to keep villagers from, like, jumping off cliffs and killing themselves. And this is just where this goes, over here. I'll get to that in a second. Over here, we have a bunch of little gardens and things. And this isn't a building or anything, it's just a bunch of platforms for flowers. I also mixed in the amber with flowers as well. I feel like that looks kind of nice. Over here, a few more unique looking garden type of things. Up here, there's kind of like a shrine thing to the dev painting. I don't know if I won't show you there, but if you see in here, this is one of the dev paintings. It's the wind one, so it's very windy themed, and I used some like glow lichen and stuff. It's pretty cool, I think. They just have like a cool little shrine up here to their wind painting. So now down here we have another building. This is supposed to be kind of factory-like. Make it look like they're making potions. These are all their ingredients piled up in the corners. And those are all their workstations. And there's another glass thing. So that's that area. I think there's a little more over here. Some of these buildings. There's another garden type thing. I did a lot of little garden bits as well, just around the buildings. Just so they pop out a bit more and everything just isn't completely made out of quartz. Got this building, which is kind of like a storehouse thing. I did some nice little, like, eaves or something here as well. which I think look pretty cool. Over here, this is just another area where villagers sleep. It's kind of a green theme, so I feel like that looks good. Over here, it's a candle garden, because I was running out of things to make gardens out of, so I went for candles. You go over here, I use this path to go up over here to this area, which is a little, like, music disc hangout area, and of course a garden as well. This whole area is going to be mostly gardens and farms, seems like. That's what I'm going for here. And this will be our third and final prompt. Here we are. This is final installment of the Prom Cluster series. I have finished it. And yeah, basically it's just what I said. It's a lot of gardens and plants and things around the place. So just starting up here, there was already an oak tree here, so I decided to just add on to it a bit and put some of the pale garden leaves in there because I thought that would look kind of interesting. And for the rest of this, I did some warp blocks and some of the resin bricks that are sort of new now. I did some trees here, which, to be honest, didn't come out quite as well as I hoped, but I still think they're kind of nice. So I left them in. And I basically just covered the whole area with that here. And there's a little garden in here, which I used a kind of an interesting container wall around it using doors. I've got some like banners and stuff in it as well. And in this, I just did some, so like a patterning on the floor with this, and I added some of the new cactus flowers as well as the eye blossoms and some white tulips. And I had the trees just be spruce trees, but with the, pale oak leaves, which I think is nice. And I think that might be it for this area. Because I basically just extended all the colors and stuff around here so it would all be fit together. There's kind of some nice little, like, other shapes happening here because this came down a little bit more. Over here, I added a bunch more little gardens and things. And I used a bunch of the new blocks here because I was excited to try some of these out. So I made these little garden gradient things with some dead bushes and mushrooms and the new dry grass and cactus flowers. I'm really a fan of the cactus flowers. I like these. They fit in a lot of really nice places. Oh, I completely forgot. I did use them for one other thing over here. There is a nice little pond here, and I used them as lilies. They're floating here. I really like how that turned out. It's got a bit of a waterfall going down here with another cactus flower lily. So that's that. Back over here, I don't remember this was here last time, but I added a few buildings here. That one's just for beds and just keeps in with the copper and quartz theme. Here I have a very small garden with just some amethyst crystals, and I took a cherry tree and changed some of the colors, and that's what I ended up with. I chose the crying obsidian for the leaves because it has the particles. Figured that would be nice. Over here, this is the other building I made. And as you can see, I kind of continued some of the gardens along the sides of the buildings, just to give some more interest to the pathway here. And this is the inside of this building. I just wanted to try and combine this thing, the sawmill looking block, with the smoker, because I figured that would look kind of interesting together. And it did. And I don't know where the next thing I changed is. I think it's just this area. I did some normal nether wart blocks and then added some trees to it as well. Which, again, maybe didn't turn out as well as I was hoping, but it's still kind of cool looking, so I think I'm going to leave it. But all the glass panes is kind of making it a little laggy, as you can see, but I still think it looks kind of nice. And here is this area. It's kind of got some plants in it that I put here at some point. And it's got a little lamp thing, as well as over here, this area, which is supposed to look like a bit of a portal or something. So you go in here, go into this little cave thing here, which is, it's supposed to look like a cave that's meant to look like the outdoors. I figured that would be interesting. So I've got blue ice here with some light blocks to make it glow, and some like faux clouds and sun and stuff. And there's a bunch of grass and flowers and things, and I mixed in the new wildflowers with the old pink petals. And you've got some of the new animal variants just hanging around here as well. And I covered the surrounding area with stalagmites to kind of make it fade into the background a bit more. So that's that. I think that's cool. Going back, I've got barriers in here so villagers don't come and trip that by accident and teleport me halfway across the world. That's the way that's set up. Over here, I don't remember if I've covered everything. I've got some of the trees that go along this path here, so this is nicely integrated now. And that might be it. This is one thing I did here. This is like a firefly hill, and I've got some firefly bushes hidden under the ground here as well, so you can see the particles in the daytime, since they only show particles when they're completely in the darkness. That's just a nice little thing. Also, these work strangely well with dead bushes. Just the way their colors work, I guess. I also got some of the dead leaves as well. I made a nice little gradient here, because this area from a while ago, it had a lapis border that I was going to blend with something, and I did now. So I have this nice little blue, purple, magenta kind of gradient thing here. This is just supposed to blend the colors a bit more, and I think it looks pretty good. So that's it now. The series is over, but some of these builds are probably still going to be, like, I'm going to show them off in the background of other videos, so if you're looking for that, you'll probably see some of the things I've made here. Also, when the Vibrant Visuals update that they're adding happens, I'm probably going to show off some of my builds with the cool new graphics and stuff. So stay tuned for that. But anyways, thank you for watching, and have a good day.